All right, welcome to the shop again. I'm back at the bandsaw and show you what a couple of my things that I'm doing on this and a couple thoughts that I have. Normally your bandsaw, the table looks like that, and it's got this throat plate here, and it's got holes in it for dust collection. But the problem with mine is it's not flush, and there's a pretty big area in here for chips to go down. And I never did like that. So, and some of the smaller projects that I do, this isn't convenient to have this much opening. So what I made was a zero clearance table for it, and it's just basically a piece of shelf or countertop, and I put a stop on the front edge, so as you push it on, it can't go any further than that. It'll just sit right there. And then I put, for the guide rail systems, the slots, I put just a couple of these on there. So that's what that looks like. But sometimes I like to have a zero clearance table with my fence. I think that there's been a couple times where I was doing stuff and I'm like, that would be real nice to have. And so today I have the day off. I worked all night and all into the morning, so I have the day off, and one of the projects on my list. What I want to do is pretty much make a basic, that table that I showed you earlier, but it has to, the fence has to be able to rest on top of it. And my fence is adjustable. It's just a Craftsman bandsaw, but you can raise the the fence up and down and then tighten it. The only problem I have is how do I prevent it from moving forward into the blade. And I think it's going to take a little creativity, I think, but I think I have a plan for that. So let's see if I can get this thing on there and kind of show you. Maybe not on this side. But anyway, let's see if I can't show you this slot here on here. What's preventing it, so it's going to rise up on there. It's kind of a pain. Put back my camera up a little bit. So it'll sit on here like that, but there's a spot. It won't go far enough back so that I could put an edge on this, glue a little piece of wood on there to stop it from going. So what I have to do is modify this piece here. It looks like I'm going to have to cut or grind this back and then square it off because it's hitting right here. So that's the next step in this, is to modify this piece with a grinder, angle grinder or something. So I'm going to try and do that, and then that way it should, when it's on mounted on the saw, I'll have room there. It'd be better off to show it this way. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Let's see here. Well, anyway, this thing needs to sit back, at least that far. And that little ridge right there is not allowing that. So that's what we're going to try. Take that material out of there with a grinder and then see if this works. Talk to you in a bit. All right, back at it again. So I'll show you what I want to do here is probably take out and then maybe all the way back. Take out all that material right there on it, and then that board should fit in there. That zero clearance board that we're going to build. So let me find my grinder and get to work. All right, so I bought a vise a while ago at Menards and made a little table for it so I can mount it on my table saw and tighten it down so it doesn't move all over the place. Come on. That. Mount this thing in here somehow. that off. Pull this apart. And some safety glasses. And then get to my grinder somehow. I got a bunch of projects going on in here. Jeez. Give me a minute here. Alright, I got the cut-off wheel. See what happens here. It's the worst that could happen, right? Good enough for the girls we go out with. Anyway, let me clean this up. We'll put it over there and see if that was enough. Talk to you in a bit. All right. Well, we're committed. So there might have been a little strength in that for this whole thing, but I think we're going to be all right. So I might have to take a little bit more off of there. Right in that. But we'll see. All right, that worked out really well. So here's the fence, right? And whatever. The fence sits on. What the heck am I doing? Hello, McFly. Fence will sit on like this. It'll be adjusted for that. Right? So these. All right, so now the fence is on top of that hardboard, and if you look in this way, move this camera a little bit or get a better angle of what's going on inside there. Well, it sits right up in into that corner. That's all I need, right? Just put your fence on. You can adjust this anywhere now, right? The only thing next is to put a chunk of hardboard underneath. Just glue it on here for a straight edge to stop it from going one way. And then maybe some runners, right? So it'll stay centered every time you put it on. It'll be centered on the blade. Something like that should be good. It's not as big as I wanted it, or it's not as wide as the table. And I hate to cut up a sheet of this stuff right now just to do this. So this isn't a bad trial run. So we'll build this and Yeah, that'll work. So let me cut a couple strips of hardboard, 3/4, two of them 3/4, and then we'll glue them on underneath there, and then one, I don't know, whatever, 1/2 inch wide. Give me a minute. Okay, well, I got the runners made, and they should be perfect. So they'll fit right in that slot there, and I'll glue them to the board on top, and then I'll get my front piece in here. But that should work. So I'll show you how I do that in a minute here. Let me clean up. Alright, well, this probably isn't the best way to do this, but this is the way I'm going to do it. Okay. So, I got a miter gauge this way, so I'm going to cut my slot. Put this board about even. Something like that. And I'm just noticing that the cut on this board is not that good on the edge. So let me clean that up on the table saw just to parallel it with the other edge, and then we'll get back in here. Alright, looking good so far. Let me go just a little bit more. Run it on this miter gauge. Again, probably not the best way, but it's going to work. Like that, just a little too far, and then I'll back it off, and we'll put a strip on this front edge here. Something a little thinner than this, but underneath that, stop it from going forward. And then I'll glue my runners in. There's one of my runners. It's sitting right now on top of blocks that I put in there, little pieces of wood. Keep it up, and put a little dab of glue on there in a little bit. But I'll do this front edge first. Let me find a piece of wood that I want to use for that. All right. Yeah. So here's where we're at. Just thin strips. I don't know, what's that, 1/2 inch on the front edge here. I'm just gluing them to the zero clearance piece. Yeah, and we're not building watches, so. See which one, there it is. So clean that up. The excess glue, I'll glue this one on. Tight bond 3. Just a dab will do ya. Don't need much here. Just need it to stop it from going any further into the blade. So just pick a spot here, line up the edge, get rid of some of that squeeze out. Put some clamps on her. Let her sit up for a half hour. Then I can get the runners on this thing. So, I don't know. Hope that makes sense. What we're doing here. Okay. Something like that, I think. And then, like I said, we'll get the runners on there, and then it'll just fit right on there. And it shouldn't go anywhere when you're cutting small parts. But anyway, that's where I'm at. We'll talk to you in a bit. All right, finished product here. The zero clearance bandsaw table that works with my fence that came with the saw. That was the most important part, is that I can have this and zero clearance. I'll show you how I did it. Basically, pretty easy. I'll walk through this again. But underneath it, I have the 2 rails that I made for it that fit in the rails, and then I have at the very back just a little stop. So this thing can only go on so far, right? So you just slide it on, bottoms out right there, and then the fence is still able to work. So I don't know, that's something that I wanted. I wanted to make for a while. I had the day off, and pretty easy project. So hope you like the build. Talk to you later. Bye.